Go.
Why, thank you, darling. Just untap these lands, these manas. Oh, I will draw a card. Oh, I drew an island card. Now I shall play Fact or Fiction. It's such a splendid card. Oh, I love playing Fact or Fiction because then I get to play with my friends, my super friends that I'm playing with right now.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm playing Super Friends, so I have to be super friendly. That's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Shush now! It's my turn, and I will proceed with my turn. Right now, since you didn't do anything with the Fact or Fiction, I'll just assume you want me to take all the cards since we're super friends and all. That's splendid. Now, I will play a Sol Ring. That's a splendid card. By the way, would you like some chips? I have some. I bought them yesterday. Would you like them?
No.
Hello and a fine welcome to the Child of Alara deck tech. Now, Child of Alara is a 6/6 that casts for white, blue, black, red, and green. She has trample, and whenever she dies, you get to destroy all non-land permanents, and they can't be regenerated. So when she dies, you're basically damnation. Now, since Child of Alara has every single color in it, you want to play every single color, of course. But what's even more fun is you can play the type of deck that's called Super Friends, where you only play Planeswalkers, which this deck is. Now, to kick us off, we will look at the mana base, which is 3 basic planes. Sorry, that's 4 basic planes. I can count. I'm smart. 4 basic islands, 4 basic swamps, 3 mountains, and 3 forests. Those are the basic lands that are being used in this deck. And then we have the Llanowar Wastes, Overgrown Tomb, which is the pain. No, that's the shock land. That's the pain land. We got Temple of Malady, the scry land. We got Lumbering Falls, one of the new man lands. Temple of Mystery, another scry land. And yet another scry land, the Temple of Triumph. Godless Shrine, which is a shock land. Temple of Silence. Oh, hello, cat. Temple of Silence, which is another scry land. Temple of Epiphany, which is also a scry land. Shivan Reef, and we got Wooded Foothills, Cinder Glade, Bloodstained Mire, Blood Crypt, Temple of Malice, Azorius Guildgate, Temple of Deceit, Sunken Hollow, Selesnya Guildgate, Temple of Plenty. Those are the dual lands. We move on to utility. Then we have the Myrian Landscape, Springjack Pasture, Thespian Stage, Blinkmoth Nexus, Command Tower, and finally City of Brass. That's the lands that are being used for this deck. They are very versatile, and there's a lot of color combinations because playing 5 colors is a mess, and you will basically never be able to have a good opening hand that has the color mana that you want. Moving on to artifacts, we have the classic Sol Ring, which taps for 2 colorless. We got the Coalition Relic, which you can add you can add any mana of any color, 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and you can put a charge counter on it. And at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all charge counters from Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool for each counter removed this way, which is pretty sweet in this deck, considering the fact that we're running 5 colors. Commander Sphere, Ur-Golem's Eye, Sisay's Ring, Dreamstone Headron, and those are our mana rocks, because you need those as well. Onto some nifty artifacts. We got Sensei's Divining Top, the one and only. Crawlspace, which says no more than 2 creatures can attack each combat, which is essentially really good when you only run a few creatures. And then we got, of course, the Chain Whale to power up our Planeswalker powers. Onto the few creatures that are in here, we got a Deathrite Shaman, Burst of Paradise for that sweet, sweet mana fixing, Spellskite, just to mess with our opponents, Sakura-Tribe Elder, which is very nifty when you have more of one color than you need, and you can easily pick up a basic land to essentially fix your mana pretty okay. Dragonlord Silumgar. And we got, of course, Avacyn, the Angel of Hope, to protect all our Planeswalkers from stupid removal. And we got some nifty sorceries. We got Ponder, Call the Gatewatch, which is surprisingly good in this deck because, well, you know, Planeswalkers. Blasphemous Act, which is really good because we have just a few creatures, so it will basically never hit us. Path to Exile, to get rid of stupid creatures. Brainstorm, of course, just to filter your top decks. Utter End, to get super annoying permanents out of the way. Fact or Fiction, Word of Ceasing, and that's our instant and sorceries. Onto enchantments, we got Exploration to get that mana ramp going. We got Oath of Nissa, we got Oath of Jace, and we got Oath of Gideon. We don't want Chandra because Oath of Chandra is not that good. Oh, we're not done with those. We got Deadbreach Chant, which is really nifty and has come to good use in a lot of games, which says when Deadbreach Chant enters the battlefield, put the top 10 cards of your library into your graveyard. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand, which works surprisingly good because even though you can't blink your Planeswalkers directly onto the battlefield, they're pretty good to get back to your hand if they die. Yes. We got a cat here. He's cranky. And then on to Planeswalkers, which is the big beatdown of this game, of this deck. We got Gideon, Champion of Justice. We got Elspeth, Knight Errant, Elspeth, Tyrell, and Elspeth, Sun's Champion. The reason we're running all of these... Whoa, you gotta stop meowing over there. Poor cat. Anyways, he's not dying. The reason we're running all these Elspeths is because every single one of them does pretty similar stuff, but they're also versatile enough for them to be pretty good. And besides, you know, you got 4 Elspeths, 3 Elspeths, so just put him in there for good measure. We got Jace, Architect of Thought, which is not that good. We got Jace, the Living Guildpact, which is also not that good. And we got Jace, Memory Adapt, which is, of course, really good. Or, well, he's okay. He's in here. He might be switched out. I don't know. The creator of this deck. I don't know what he has in plan. And we got Tesseract the Seeker, which is always fun to... It's always fun to tutor up your artifacts just to, you know, get the game flowing. We got onto the Black Planeswalkers. We got Liliana of the Dark Realms, which is pretty sweet because that fixes basically every problem you have with black. We got Liliana Vests, which also helps a lot out with mana fixing because you get to tutor anything you want with her -5. We got Obnixilis of the Black Oath, which is a pretty handy man. He's pretty versatile and he does a lot of stuff. Silence, kitty. Yeah, you gotta be quiet. And we got Tybalt the Fiend-Blooded. Well, you know, you can use him because you're running 3 creatures, and your opponent is most likely not running 3 creatures. They presumably have more than 3 creatures, and it's pretty great to use him as maybe a finisher or something like that. And we got Daretti, the Scrap Servant, which works pretty well with artifacts, of course. He's also from the pre-con decks like Obnixilis, And you can basically Faithful Looting on a stick with him, even though it's the other way around because you got to discard before your draw. But you know, it's still pretty nifty. We got Chandra Pyromaster, not the Pyromancer. She's also really good because you basically get to play an additional card. You get to draw an additional card with her 0, and her ultimate is also really powerful. Then we got Nissa, which is very good because we're running a lot of lands, and she likes lands. And that's always good to do stuff with. Turning your lands into 4/4s, it's not that bad. It's pretty good, and it works with the non-existing strategy that is in this deck. Then we got Garrick Primal Hunter, which is big bad, and you get 3/3s. We got Sorin the Solemn Visitor, and we got Sorin Lord of Innistrad and Sorin Markov, of course. Now Sorin Markov is nasty because, well, if you cast him early game, you're gonna make the game for the other opponent a living hell because their life total becomes 10 rather early, because then they have not a lot to work with. And we got, of course, Solemn Visitor and Lord of Innistrad, which are pretty decent with themselves, but to me, Markov is the personal favorite of the Sorins. Then we got Kiora, the Crashing Wave, which has her ultimate, which is really decent. It works a lot. It works really well. And then we got Kiora, Master of Deaths, which also is pretty nifty. Then we got Domri Raid and Narset the Transcendent, which works explicitly good in the deck. It's a lot of fun. Player a lot. And then we got Vraska the Unseen for another aggro win with her assassins. We got Sarkhan the Unbroken for dragons, but even though we only have one dragon, that's totally fine. We got Nicol Bolas just to mess with our opponent and their entire library and their entire stuff of creatures they have. And of course, the one and only Karn Liberated, just because Karn Liberated, and you can put him in any deck, and you essentially have an infinite game with him. So that was the deck tech of this super fun or super friendly deck. So yes, that's it for me from us this month. Be sure to look forward to our next video next month sometime about something. So yeah, if you have any suggestions on which planeswalkers should go out of this deck or which planeswalkers should go in, comments are gladly appreciated. They're always fun. And so yes, that's it. We will see you in the next video that will be made next month sometime. Yes, okay. Please comment, subscribe, and like, and do all those nifty things, and we will see you later. Bye-bye!